Welcome back. This devlog composes my struggles and acquisitions obtained through a video I saw by the Unity developer and YouTuber Mix and Jam. His videos are an incredible asset to whoever wants to learn about game development, specifically Unity. I was amazed at how he could study and recreate events and animations that occur in video games. Seeing him do this gave me the affirmation that I could try and accomplish something similar and learn skills through the process. Check him out. He is definitely a valuable asset to whomever wants to learn and improve in game development. In this devlog, I will be trying to emulate his warp strike animation from Final Fantasy XV using his step-by-step process. Like Mix and Jam, the first step I took was downloading animations from an amazing website that I was previously not aware of called Mixamo. Then, I went to Filmstorm's guide of creating a third-person camera system, which turned out to be quite difficult to understand at that moment. The next 3 days of May, I prepared and played in a video game concert hosted in my university. Once back in the grind, I began implementing the humanoid animations between idle movement and a standard run. I managed to fix an issue I had where the animation was moving forward by itself, and I had set it up so movement was with respect to my code. So after some animation classes, I managed to understand what caused the movement and then deleted it. The rest of the day revolved around going on a 3-hour drive to play at a concert, and then another 3 hours back to my apartment. Cool fact about this day is that it's the day I ran my first 10 miles with a friend. Today I first managed to finish most of the running animation and movement by using the horizontal inputs A and D to affect only rotation and W to affect forward movement. This made it look more RPG-like, which made me happy. Then I added the sword throw animation, which is actually a sword slash animation. Upon further analysis of the third-person camera system, I realized how easy Cinemachine actually made the system be. I then added the Noctis sword to my avatar.
Holy shit! It is almost accurate. Is it accurate?
I downloaded DoTween to apply its useful methods. Added an idle enemy, made its location the temporary warp target, and finally implemented an animation event for the warp. The last two things I did was remove the character meshes with the same code as Mix and Jam, that after understanding it, I've now added to my toolkit. And finally, made it so the sword would appear before the throw and then disappear afterwards, using the same idea as before to the sword meshes. I woke up and realized that there were some minor issues I was facing, like how the sword was aiming at the floor, or that the player didn't hold it after the warp, so my first objective was to try and fix this. I also had my code running a cooldown system when I could easily be using the animation events to trigger specific functions at specific times. Then, following the same concept as Mix and Jam, I instantiated a clone of my player every time I warped and freezed it in position. After this, it was time to learn about shaders, so I installed the lightweight render pipeline and freaked out when everything turned pink. Eventually learning I could upgrade the project and materials. After a while of trial and error, I applied my first shader to the enemy. Then, for the big power move, I started emulating a shader similar to the one Noctis leaves behind as a projection. Then, I made the second shader for when Noctis reappears after the warp. I made the shaders appear by changing the material inside all the mesh renderers before and after the warp. Finally, inside the code, I modified an alpha property I added to the shaders by using DoTween's functions. I decided to start working on some post-processing effects. And after that, I began taking my first steps with the Unity particle system, and needless to say, I got lost. So I went to YouTube and began getting a hang of it after practice. I have so much to learn about the Unity particle system, but I managed to create a trail effect for the warp. Then I worked with the shaders and materials necessary for making the sword appear and disappear on command. This took longer than expected, and I ended up finishing around 2 p.m. The next thing I did was copy a script I found online where it would register the closest labeled entity to the camera's center. After understanding the code, I added the target images from Mix&Jam's project into my own, and then set up the behavior for the targeting system. The last thing I did was work with the Cinemachine impulse source code to make the camera have more fluidity and impact over the warp effect. Finally, I think that'll be all for now. Some things I should still work on are the particle system. I feel that would make the effect really more authentic. And overall, I learned a lot, which was the purpose of this project. It was definitely an experience that allowed me to step into a lot of unknown territory and come back out with a variety of new tools for my own games. I want to thank Mix&Jam again for allowing me the opportunity to learn in such a fun way. Keep doing what you are doing. It is definitely helping a lot of people and inspiring them. Till next time, I'm signing out.